That's Chumbawamba, current record holders of the longest album title in the world. No, please don't. I have to say it again? All right. The name of the album is The Boy Bands Have Won, and all the copyists and the tribute bands and the TV talent show producers have won. If we allow our culture to be shaped by mimicry, whether from lack of ideas, from exaggerated expect, you should never try to freeze culture. What you can do is recycle that culture, take your older brother's hand-me-down jacket and restyle it, refashion it to the point where it becomes your own. But don't just regurgitate creative history or hold art and music as literature as fixed, untouchable, and kept under glass. The people who try to guard any particular form of music are, like the copyists and manufactured bands, doing it the worst disservice, because the only thing that you could do to music that will damage it is not change it, not make it your own, because then it dies, then it's over, then it's done, and the boy bands have won. All right. While we're on the subject, what is the longest song title the planet has ever seen? Well, as far as I can tell, it's from a Swedish group called Rednecks. This particular track is called The Sad But True Story of Ray Mingus, the lumberjack of Bulk Rock City, and his never-slacking stride in exploiting the so far undiscovered areas of the intention to bodily intercourse from the opposite species of his kind during intake of all the mental condition that could be derived from fermentation. No idea what that means, but it's 52 words and 254 characters. All right, what about the longest song? And I'm talking about terms of running time. And I also mean the longest recorded song. We have to make that distinction because there's a performance going on at a church in Germany of a John Cage composition entitled As Slow as Possible. And this song is designed to be 639 years long. It's not going to be done until the year 2640. But what about the longest recorded song? Now, that's been something curtailed by the maximum length of recording media. With a vinyl album, the most you could get on one side was about 24 minutes. With a cassette, you could maybe get an hour if you used one of those really flimsy C120 cassettes. Compact discs, never more than 80 minutes, and even that's pushing it. But with MP3s and streaming online, there's no finite length. So theoretically, we could have a recorded song of any duration. There's a project called Long Player, and as I write this, the recording session has been going on continuously for 12 years, 8 days, 8 hours, 42 minutes, and 20 seconds. The session is scheduled to continue until the year 2999, and then they'll start on the extended dance mix. I'm just kidding about that last part, but you can look it up at longplayer.org. There's a noise band called Bull of Heaven who completed a track that's 50,000 hours long. That's about 6 years. Not really much of a song, though. It's just a bunch of sound effects looped and played really, really slow. The Flaming Lips recorded a song that was 24 hours long in 2011. They made it available online and on a USB stick that they sold inside real human skulls. They bought 13 of them at a medical supply store in Oklahoma City and sold each of them for $5,000. And yes, they did sell out. But if we're going to talk about something a little more manageable, then I think we're left with Chris Butler. You know that Christmas song by the Waitresses called Christmas Wrapping? He wrote that. Chris spent much of the 80s as a record producer and producing a bunch of cable TV shows. By the middle 90s, he was back performing as a solo artist. In 1996, he started a project as something of a joke. It was an album called The Devil Glitch, which featured just one song. He wanted to see how long he could make this one song, and eventually he stretched it out to 68 minutes and 53 seconds. 500 verses, none of which is repeated, and there were no instrumental breaks. It took him 3 months to write it, and get this, Chris recorded his part in one long take. It's just him singing and playing the acoustic guitar. It was then broken down into chunks ranging from 2 to 5 minutes in length, and musician friends added their own instrumentation and backup vocals. Chris then reassembled everything back into one long song. And before you dismiss this all as a gimmick, I should tell you that the song itself is very clever, and that it was nominated for a Grammy Award in 1998. You want to hear it? Or really some of it? All right, here we go. This is a portion of The Devil Glitch by Chris Butler.